So rude.
You deserve that, bro. Shut up the first time, bro.
I have no idea what happened. Is he okay?
Who's okay?
Smithy, you hung up on him.
Hopefully not.
Yo, don't drop, please.
Drop what?
the thing. The
so
shelf.
far away. What do you expect?
What do you mean so far away? Listen. There was a lot of discussion. We should have done this a long time ago. This podcast delays because of Smithy John, delays because of topics, delays because of ADA coin. But yeah, we literally just talked already for half an hour.
Yeah, but
so now let's just go into topics, man.
Let's do it. What's the first topic?
What you tell me what the first topic is? Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. What?
How the fight's gonna happen?
Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul 2 is confirmed for December 18th, 2021. So
2022.
2020. No, 21. This year.
Oh, sorry, because you said February. That's why.
Yeah. So the fight is happening. I made a short once the news came out, or like even the rumor from our boy Keemstar. Let's
get right.
So once the news came out,
yeah,
I went and I made a short about the fight getting canceled. Initially, it didn't get too many views, but it eventually got like 1,000 views on shorts. So it's better than nothing.
Maybe
actually, it took me like 20 minutes to make it.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
for 1,000 views. Yeah.
So as I was editing it, he posted a video actually confirming like, oh, he pulled out and I'm facing Tyron Woodley too.
How do you feel with the whole situation? And like what Tyson Fury said about how he beat Jake Paul with a broken rib and a broken arm. He was also trolling.
That's just banter.
That's
just banter. Yeah, it happens. Like people get injured all the time. So he has a chest infection, I think, or something with his chest
and a rib
and hurt ribs. So I get what Jake Paul is saying. He's like, oh, this guy talked all that garbage, and this is just an excuse, and he's not actually sick, and I don't even want to give him a fight in the future. But like, that fight's probably gonna happen eventually. So? Yeah,
if he beats Woodley, I mean, who else would be left? Fury
I'm sure he can find different fights, right? And he can generate Jake Paul, Ben
Askren too.
Yeah, why not? Like honestly, no, he can honestly just make up fights wherever he pleases, Jake right? Paul there's a lot out there. I haven't made the short yet, but I want to make short about Jake versus Nate Diaz.
How about Jake Paul Triple G?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, if their contracts allow them. Right? Why not? Because I think Jake Paul's signed to Showtime, right?
Yeah.
With a multiple fight deal.
That's not gonna be a fun fight for Jake Paul.
So I think the Tommy Fury fight will happen. Maybe sometime next year. Maybe February. Maybe that's too soon. Maybe Jake Paul wants to take some time.
How long ago was the Woodley one? Was that August?
I don't remember.
I think it was August I think it was August.
It wasn't too long ago. So the Tyron Woodley fight, after it happened, I was like, I don't think Tyron Woodley is gonna get another fight. Like, especially with him not doing that tattoo thing. I was like, even if he does it, right? Huh?
Yeah, but like he had it done, right?
He did it, but it was like after everything trended, like everything went away. Like I remember, Jake Paul said something. It was like, imagine if the next day or the same night he got that tattoo. The fight or the rematch would have been even bigger, right? Because like he actually did it, about all that kind of stuff. But he did it months after, not months. He did it a long time after.
But I think like what's hindering this rematch is that the first fight was canceled, right? Now this is kind of like the backup fight, so like it won't trend as much as the other one, like as a Fury fight, right? So
yeah, but at the same time, like there's a lot that's already built into this fight, right? A lot of people already saw the first fight.
Was there going to be a rematch?
There's time. I don't think maybe you never know with him, because he's not necessarily like a traditional boxer, right? Yeah. Where he goes through the rankings and stuff like that. He's like really picking and choosing and different storylines.
like he's not.
I don't think
like
so.
in the rankings of the.
I don't think so. I don't know.
IBF or anything like that. No,
I doubt it. But I didn't think the rematch will ever happen or anytime soon. But it happened, and Tyron Woodley was training and took the offer. Right? It's for him to take it on this short notice is
crazy.
Yeah, it's good for him. I guess he was planning to be the backup, or maybe they already had a discussion
that he would be the
substitute, because even with like in the UFC with the big fights, there's always somebody waiting in the wings, right, as a backup. Not necessarily yeah, not necessarily all the way until like weigh-ins. Like we've seen that for like Michael Chandler cutting weight and making weight and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, make weight, go home.
Yeah, we don't see that all the time, but we do see situations where there's like a backup that's gonna come that would replace a hurt fighter, say like a week or 2 weeks or a month.
So can I ask you a question? Let's say if it was Poirier, Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
And let's say that day of Poirier had to pull out.
Yeah.
Would they fill somebody in? If it was day of? Maybe.
It depends, because that's what happened with the Khabib fight, right? It was not the day of. I think it was like the day before where Thing pulled out. Tony Ferguson pulled out, right? The knee situation.
It was the day before.
It wasn't that much time.
Oh yeah, it was the same night where they had Holloway and then they had Alaquenta, right? Like,
yeah,
all the same day. I remember that.
It was like a small time frame, right? Yeah. So then they did that, and there was issues with the weight and the commissions, and eventually Alaquenta got that spot and fought. So
my real estate agent, it's my boy.
If you ever need a house in New York, in the state of New York, so there's opportunity. There was an opportunity, and Tyron Woodley took it, and good for him. He was training and stuff like that. Do you want to go into fight predictions in this one, or just
have to
in this video?
I think we should,
because it goes deep. So the first fight, I was a big proponent for Tyron Woodley. I said, you know what? Forget this whole winning.
Every single video. That's why Woodley will knock him out with a right overhand.
Yeah, I went into detail because I said, you know what? Forget all these other fights that he's lost, right? These last 4 or 5 fights. This MMA. He lost the love for that sport. He tried different things. It just didn't work out. That doesn't take away his skills and his abilities and what he's done and what he can do. And I thought, based off of the footage that you had from Jake Paul, there was openings, and those openings did show up in the fight between the two. It was just Tyron Woodley really didn't capitalize on any of them. The only time that he really had success was when he
against the ropes.
Yeah, he got him against the ropes. But other than that, he didn't let his hands fly. He really threw single shots, and even then he didn't.
He was so cannon shy. It's like when he was trying to fight against the ropes, he would like measure it, and then maybe throw one punch.
So a lot of that has to do with inexperience with boxing, right? Because you just need time in the ring to learn those kind of stuff and get used to them. But as well, I feel that psychologically he was in that fight trying not to lose to Jake Paul. He did not want to get knocked out by Jake Paul, right?
Was he wobbled in that fight? Was he?
Not really. Was, right? But the idea of potentially getting knocked out also kind of prevented him, in my opinion, from taking it a step further, because he was so concerned. Like, if I overcommit, if I throw a 3-punch combo, right, I might get caught by him. Yep. And that's worse than losing a decision.
Yep.
Because at the same time, he also might be thinking, I'm winning this fight.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what he kind of felt at the end too. He's like,
but to be fair, like, it wasn't like that far off of like him winning, right? Like, yeah, he was losing, but I wouldn't say...
He lost, but it wasn't like a dominant performance.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's the thing, right? So I guess from his point of view, he might have thought that...
Yeah, but at the same time, if he goes into the second fight with that same mentality, he's going to lose again.
Yeah.
He's going to lose again. So I still feel like Jake Paul is learning, and he's getting better, and he's fixing his diet and all that kind of stuff. He's training very hard. But those openings, I feel like those openings will still be there.
But why do you think so, though? Did you like?
It's hard to fix those things in what 6 months. It's you can't completely change. Like I know he is so early in his career where you make huge leaps and bounds, but those opportunities are still there, and he has the opportunity to capitalize on them. I don't know if he's going to though, because I didn't want to buy into this whole like Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley is going to be Tyron Woodley, where he sits back and he waits and he's on this big losing streak. He lost that fire, all that kind of stuff. And like now, I didn't want to buy into that the first one because I was like, you know what, give him a clean slate. Yeah. But now in the second fight, that thing kind of comes into play. Yeah. I'm not as confident, not even close to as confident as I was in the first fight.
Yeah, honestly, but like we saw him though when he did land, he did wobble Jake. With the right overhand, right?
So he had success, right? And he had success exactly where Jake Paul is the weakest, right? Where Jake Paul is going backwards, where he's not dictating the forward pace. Yeah. So like one of the like even you train in boxing, like one of the hardest things is to fight going backwards, right? Because like the guy that's coming forward is dictating exactly where you're going. He cuts off the cage, all that kind of stuff. Like even you'll see at the highest level for like Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. Well, I don't know if we're talking about that, but a big thing was in that fight was the forward pressure by Charles Oliveira. Yeah. It's very hard to fight when a guy's pressuring you over and over and over again. Another one like Khabib, right? Like the way that he beat Justin Gaethje was that forward pressure. It's a dangerous game, but
and he was caught. He was caught with a right left hook.
He got hit hard, but it didn't really do anything to him. Yeah, right? Because for whatever reason. But in this Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley matchup, I would want him to do is first of all go to our channel and watch that video. Subscribe. Where I went over some of the clips. Maybe we'll put an annotation to it on this video, but and see like there's actual opportunity for Jake Paul to get hurt, and it's just a matter of will Tyron do it. I don't know. I can't put. I don't have much confidence.
Well, I think there's a safe bet to say that I think Jake Paul wins this fight.
Safe bet would be Jake Paul.
Was he also the favorite in the first fight? He was, right?
I think so. Yeah. I don't remember.
I would have bet against him.
You would? Win.
I wouldn't like to.
Yeah. Because he's also coming in with actual like a very long boxing camp. They're coming with a game plan. They've drilled specific things. They know what to do and what not to do. So Tyron Woodley, on the other hand, it's after a certain age, it's hard to retrain how fighters fight. Yeah. The guy is like now I think he's 40, right? He was 39 before. I don't know. I'm sure he's 40 now. It's hard to rewire how he fights and how he's programmed. And like he kind of tried to change it against Vicente Luque, where he just went forward and he clipped Luque a couple times. But after that fight, he kind of shied away from it. Yeah. Right. So Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker confirmed for February 12th at UFC 271 in Houston.
In Houston, I thought that they wanted in Australia, right?
Yeah, Australia or New Zealand. I think that was one of the reasons why this whole thing was delayed, was because they wanted to have this fight in one of those countries because of like the number of people they could get into it,
and just because they're
into the event, hometown, all that kind of stuff. And because of like I guess restrictions, and now with the new strains, like it's just not very likely. So I think it looks like the UFC has called it quits in terms of trying to go into the oceanic places, countries, and said, you know what, let's just do it in Houston, which is
good old Texas, huh?
Which is yeah. Remember for the Derek Lewis fight? Yeah. It was announced that they had like a new deal with the Toyota Center. Yeah. So I think this is part of that deal. So they.
Well, I guess like in Texas, you can have as many people as you want, right? So
yeah. Add in extra seats if you want, no problem.
I'd bring your lawn chair.
So, one thing is interesting is Israel Adesanya at this moment of recording, he in response to that tweet sent out a cap emoji. So basically saying that it's not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
That's all he wrote. All he wrote was cap. That's it.
Like to the fight poster?
Yeah, that was posted by the UFC.
Maybe he mistweeted. Maybe he did.
How do you mistweet it? So Dana White was asked at a press conference. He's like, hey, they were asked, I think it was Kevin Aioli.
Kevin Aioli,
yeah. Yo, relax. Kevin Aioli asked him, he's like, well, what are your thoughts on this? Israel Adesanya said the announcement was a lie. And Dana White basically got upset, and he kind of said, when do we ever lie? He asked Hunter, and he's basically confirmed that it's good to go. Now, this might be like mind games or with Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker's camp, because ever since, even before they fought the first time, Israel has been just trolling his entire camp. He's always been.
I think he's saying cap, maybe like in relation to the location. I don't think he's saying cap like to the actual fight. I mean, who else is there like for him to fight? That's it. That's left there. Yeah,
I agree, but I agree in terms of like who's left to fight.
Comes out.
Yeah, you can come with the 185.
No problem for the brother.
But the question is, I wouldn't look too much into this cap thing. I think it's just him just trolling, him doing his thing, playing mind games with Robert Whittaker. Like even before the fight happened, the first one, he was trolling him about his skills and his abilities. He trolled him about during the press conferences. It kind of got not racial. It kind of got weird about like the whole New Zealand and Australia stuff. There's a lot of stuff that went into it, and then you have a situation where Israel Adesanya beats him so easily in the was it first round? The first or second round?
I wouldn't say it was easy. I just think that like he got clipped. It's like I think it's
it was trending very bad for Robert Whittaker. He just kept getting hit over and over again.
Like in that thing too, like that exchange, he did land on Izzy too, but Izzy just clipped him back twice.
Yeah, but so the second fight, I believe, is going to go completely different, right? Not necessarily the result being different. Everything else in that fight is going to be different. The preparation is going to be different. The not attitude, the feeling, not attitude, the approach will be different for Robert Whittaker.
I feel like
before that fight, sorry for cutting you off to cut me off. Before that fight, he actually was on a layoff, the Robert Whittaker, because of surgeries and issues that he had.
Too, right?
I'm not sure about that. I forget the actual details, but he was on a long layoff, and then when he came back from a layoff, which basically, the medical issue. He was like on like not on his deathbed, but he was very, very like intensive care. He was in the ICU, I think. So after that situation, he went in and faced a guy, in Israel Adesanya, after having like a year and a half layoffs. Yeah. Right. So now it's completely different, right? He's coming off of multiple victories. Yeah. He's put in
fought since then?
Darren Till. He's fought. This guy, you asked me you asked me questions that I should know,
and I feel also too, as I was saying before too, with Izzy, I feel like his popularity is kind of like fell down a little bit since the fight with Jan, because he was trending so high with that and maybe John Jones, and since then it's been quiet. He's been like
I get what you mean. I feel like maybe his the degree of ascension, right, has slowed down, but he's still just as big as he was before. You think so? Especially now that Jan lost. Yeah. Right. That's like, he's not going down. He's just going up slower, right? Because actually, Jan losing, I don't know.
To Glover, I don't know what that. But I think what it is that I think him going up in a weight class was, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, because you have to always try to.
It is what it is. It happened. He's back, right? So now he's going to fight the guy that's next up in the division he hasn't.
Well, I can tell you one thing, though.
He did face him.
I can tell you one. Izzy is never fighting. John Jones would have to go on a 2-year weight cut to lose that weight. So that fight is never happening ever again. But
yeah, I'm unfortunately, I don't think that fight's gonna ever happen. Maybe he might go back to light heavyweight
Think
again.
he's gonna cut down from that weight?
No. Israel will go to light heavyweight, but it will just have to be against the right matchup. I don't think he would go up against Glover, because Glover is basically what Jan is, but better in the grappling department. So,
but not striking wise. His striking is as good. As
they're both similar styles, but I guess you would give Glover the advantage because he beat Jan.
Yeah, I know.
But at the same time,
speaking of his Whittaker's fights.
Oh yeah, so Darren Till, Jared Cannonier, and then Kelvin Gastelum.
So 3 big wins.
So against the top of the middleweight division.
Yeah.
So I feel, and you know what's interesting about that? If you look at his record, Whittaker, before he fought Israel Adesanya, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins in a row. Then faced Israel Adesanya. Then he won 10, 11, 12. So in the last 13 fights, he's 12-1.
It's a very good record.
The last 13 fights is 12-1. So I feel Robert Whittaker is much better in a health perspective. He's much better in a mental perspective. This fight is going to be completely different. Then
who's your pick?
It's too early for me to predict. I would want to take more time on it.
Well, I will.
No. But this video was about the
just
tweet.
confirm it. Yeah, the tweet.
Yeah, so I think it will happen. It's just a lot of these are just like mind games, small like stuff here and there. Israel Adesanya is not like the end all be all in terms of like where the fight is happening and all that kind of stuff. He really just is just whether he accepts the contract or not. Yeah. And it sounds like he already accepted the contract. So
well, that's gonna be the second UFC card, 2022, right? First one will be Francis and
Ngannou. Yeah.
And then second one will be Izzy and Whittaker. Huh? It's a good start to 2022.
Definitely. Charles Oliveira versus who next? And it looks like it's Justin Gaethje.
I thought it was going to be Islam or Dariush, so I think Khabib was lying.
I think the timelines line up that way, maybe. Because
but Khabib said on the podcast that...
on our podcast, he came?
Not on our podcast. On Brett Okamoto, right?
Yeah.
He was I shouldn't be telling you this, but the next fight is going to be whoever wins that fight. So basically, I think going to be the fight that...
I think you're confusing two things. Or what I remember was he was saying, huh?
Oh,
that's what I told you?
That's what you told me.
No, Khabib was saying that what I should, what the UFC told us is that if Islam wins by submission or he finishes Dariush, he'll get double bonus. Yeah. And he was saying that I think that this is the number one contender fight between Dariush and Islam. Because
he was actually, if you saw on his Instagram and Twitter, he was bashing Gaethje. He's like, you've already fought for it like twice now, so then you can't fight for it again.
He was just keeping it real, you know.
But do you think it was him talking or was it Ali Abdelaziz?
No, so he confirmed that it was him that said it on the same Brett Okamoto. So I don't think he has a reason to lie. Ali
Abdelaziz. Did you see a meme where he's like, he's controlled all his fighters? He's like,
I think maybe at this point, maybe it's already confirmed that what I'm saying is untrue. But I feel like Khabib is at a point where he doesn't need his manager to talk for him anymore. Like using his account.
He's past that now.
He probably has his own team or he has his own voice now. Is
he still is he still with Ali Abdelaziz? Like in the sense,
he's Dominance MMA.
Okay, yeah.
He's still but he doesn't fight, so he's not necessarily looking to match up for bookings. But maybe he helps them with promotion and getting these other Rashad Evans, right? Because Rashad Evans is coming out of retirement and fighting in Eagle FC, which is happening in the USA.
That's a guy.
So maybe in that way. What?
Let's go to that. And let's report it. And
I don't even know where it's happening.
Well, if it's when is that, first of all?
I have no idea.
But speaking of Gaethje and Oliveira, man, I need to give Oliveira respect because I've been saying that he's like a poor man's Tony Ferguson for too long now. And after last night, man, those are two big wins in a row. With first of all, he beat Chandler. Then he goes on to beat Dustin Poirier. Poirier, and I've said it, and I'm gonna say it again: the best striking in the lightweight division. He went there, he beat him, standing rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Next level. He wins that fight. I think Gaethje, though, the problem with Gaethje is that he has power and volume. Even then, I don't think that's going to be Oliveira.
So, the Charles Oliveira was always like this wonder boy. Even when he first came in, he started the sport very, very young, and he was always that guy that never lived up to his potential.
Yeah.
And then, as of recent, he turned that around, and now he's champion. He's proved everything that people say against him. He's eating some big shots. Some dangerous shots that.
I thought maybe he's eating some like big food, bro.
He's eating some dangerous shots, but he's still winning the fight. In terms of Justin Gaethje, why I'm leaning towards Charles Oliveira against Justin Gaethje is the ground and how easy Charles Oliveira got.
Such long arms.
He got hit Justin's back, right? He got so easily. And as well, Justin Gaethje doesn't do the best with forward pressure guys. He's always better whenever guys, huh?
Like Khabib.
Yeah, but Khabib is like an extreme version. I feel like Charles Oliveira is going to implement a similar plan where he's going to go forward, try to catch Justin Gaethje off balance, take his back, grapple him, and finish. Now anything could happen, but that's what I'm leaning towards. And that looks like it's going to be the next fight, from timeline standpoint. So if you say Islam versus Dariush happens in February, right?
February, yes, yeah.
So this fight just happened. So they might book Justin versus Charles Oliveira in like April.
But what if either of those guys win the fight really easily? Let's say it ends in the first round, like the fight with Hooker and Islam, right?
Okay.
What if it ends in the first round, no damage, nothing? I think you'd have to give him the title shot.
No, because you sure, but it all depends on like scheduling. So if the UFC likes to schedule things like 3-4 months before it happens. So if right now it looks like Justin Gaethje has no fight, Charles Oliveira just fought, you could book a fight for 3 months from now. Now you have a main event for that, and at the same time you let Islam versus Dariush happen in February, and that winner will face the winner of the one in March or April, and then that fight will happen in end of the year of next year, or like the summer of next year.
And Khabib's prediction was by the end of 2021, right? Or was it by the end of 2022? Islam will be champion.
I guess 2022, because 21 is he's booked for a fight in 2022.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Islam in his fight in like some other time.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it more in depth.
Yeah, speaking back to Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. I don't know about that fight. I'm gonna go with Oliveira from now on because I've been wrong twice now. Because I said Chandler and I said Poirier.
Yeah.
You have to give them the respect now after that fight. But I'm gonna go with Oliveira.
We'll leave that. We'll probably do like a fight prediction closer to the fight if it's ever booked or when it's booked.
A full podcast for that.
Full podcast for 2 hours.
3 hours.
Sit down. We'll do a full podcast.